sides. I'm not going to make this political. I try to stay away from politics completely because I don't want any of that. I want to keep my family safe. I know you want to keep your family safe. You want to keep yourself safe. So I'm going to talk about 3 simple self-defense tools that you can carry with you wherever you go. And I'm not talking about carrying a sidearm, a firearm. I'm talking about things that you can take with you in non-permissive environments. You might choose to carry one if you're able to, but most places around the world you can't carry a gun. So instead of talking about that, I'm going to give you some other options, some things that you can have on your person that don't seem obvious as a self-defense tool sometimes, but could double as one, or are a less than lethal option. Something just to get yourself out of a bad situation if you find yourself in it. Now, we can say, you know, we're going to go about our business. We're going to stay away from areas where there's a lot of political violence, social unrest, civil unrest. We want to stay away from that. But then what happens when they come to you? Right? We're seeing now many cases where people are being just randomly stopped on the street trying to go about their business, and they're being accosted, physically, violently, assaulted because of what the person, the group of people are trying to get them to say or not say, or admit or not admit, or whatever it is. Or then we saw them go into the church on Sunday. They went into a church. It was completely outrageous. But the point was, or is, that the security for the church was non-existent. They weren't able to protect the parishioners from these angry, violent protesters or whatever they were, agitators coming in and trying to disrupt what they were doing. And then there's the threat of physical violence, right? It didn't happen yet, but what happens when it does happen and you're there and you need to feel safe, keep yourself safe, keep your family safe? So I have these 3 options. The first one, I know we talk about this from time to time, is a palm stick, and there are different versions of the palm stick. We have a tactical flashlight. I don't have that at hand. It's here, but it's just out of reach. We have a Kubotan keychain, and this company's selfie stick, I think they're making a keychain, which is basically will be this with a flat end, and then it'll, you can put your keys on it like this. So something like this that you can carry with you that doesn't look necessarily like a self-defense tool, but you can squeeze in your hand. And the way that you use a pocket stick, because the Kubotan keychain is a pocket stick, the way you use these pocket sticks is you squeeze your fist, and then you're able to punch and increase the power of your punch. So if you had to defend yourself physically against a physical person who's trying to put their hands on you, put their hands on your wife, your girlfriend, your husband, your significant other, your child, your grandchild, and you want to stop them, and you have to physically stop them, because that might be the case. There might not be someone there to help you, and you say, I'm going to protect my family, protect myself. You can use a palm stick in your hand, and you can increase the power of your punch and knock somebody out, knock somebody back, simply by squeezing this in your hand. Now, this acts as what we call a fist load. A fist load means your fist is heavier, your fist is tighter, your knuckles don't compress. You also have this motion here where you can come over the top and jab with this end. You can back fist, you can hit the guy behind you. You can also thrust with the side coming out of your thumb. You can press it into pressure points, into soft tissue, eyes, teeth, into the throat, into the solar plexus, if you had to defend yourself. Now, we hope that doesn't happen. We don't want that to happen. We want the rule of law to come back in these areas. But if you're worried about security and keeping yourself safe, that's what I teach, how to keep yourself safe, how to keep your family safe. This is one option. So the number one is going to be a pocket stick. Now, this company, Selfie Stick, it's upside down again. Selfie Stick makes 2 lengths, a longer one and a shorter one. I put the link in the description below. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they're coming out with a Kubotan keychain will be the next product that they have, where you can carry it on your keys, and then you have it all the time. You have it wherever you go. And if you need to, you just wrap your hand around it and you tell somebody, back up, I'll keep my family safe. You can put your helmet on, drive that elbow in, and then start to push them back physically, get them out of your face. So if you need an option, as we see this growing civil unrest, growing social violence, political violence, and you try to avoid it, I try to avoid it, I don't want to go there, I don't want to be anywhere near it, but it might come to you, right? And we hope it doesn't, we pray that it doesn't, but if it does, I would rather be prepared Like they used to say, pray for peace and prepare for war. When I was a young Marine, when I was in the Army National Guard, that was a common saying: or pray for peace and prepare for war. We don't want to do one or the other. We want to always be doing both. So prepare or pray for peace, right? Pray to an end to all this craziness in the world, but prepare to defend yourself. Prepare so that you don't perish. Prepare so that you don't have to panic. Be able to stand up, speak up, and knuckle up, Buttercup, if you have to. So this is number one. Number two, these are one of my favorite new additions. I've been using these now for a little over a year. It's been cold here. Cold in Florida is like 60. So if you're up in Minnesota, or if you're up in Chicago, where the wind's blowing and the snow's falling and the temperatures are dipping below zero, because I used to live up north, right? So I know this isn't cold. But for Florida, people start putting on the parkas when it hits like 55. But these gloves like these are, I'll put a link in the description to gloves like these. These are puncture and slash proof gloves, or resistant. Puncture and slash resistant gloves. Now, the purpose of wearing something like this is that when you make yourself a fist, it acts as a fist load the same way that those first, the palm sticks did, the selfie stick, right? So, and you can use them both together. Obviously, you can put your selfie stick in your gloved hand. The gloved hand can also go on your head. Someone's slashing or coming at you and you had to cover up. It's better to cover up like this and let them hit that. It's not going to get cut than it is to get cut here or with a naked hand, right? And you have that fleshed. So that's one of the features. One of the other features, obviously, is just being able to make a fist and being able to strike and knock somebody back, push somebody back, and have your hands protected so you're not slashed, you're not cut. If there's broken glass, if they're throwing things, I've seen people throwing these water bottles now. They're throwing iced bottles of water that they've frozen in advance, and they've thrown them at many people. People are getting hit by them, cut by them, knocked out, faces, teeth busted out, stuff like that. You could easily cover with something like this and let it hit that. This is a great option. Put your hands this way to defend yourself. This is always best just because you are putting the bony side forward. So the second option of the three tools that you can carry, self-defense tools you can carry with you to protect yourself and take them pretty much anywhere, are a good pair of tactical gloves, but tactical gloves that are also slash and puncture resistance. And the third one, and this isn't a thing, can't take this to most places, to a lot. You can't take it everywhere, but you can have it with you most places. You can certainly have it with you in church, right? And it is just a simple can of pepper gel. And I like pepper gel instead of pepper spray because when you spray it, it's not coming out in a big plume that's then going to come back to you. You see a lot of these violent protests where they're shooting the gas, or they're gassing each other, and the gas is going, but then a lot of them are wearing masks, right? But if somebody's coming into your church, someone's accosting you on the street, they're not wearing that mask, you're inside a building, you have this pepper gel, and this, you can see, this is the one I carry on my my duty belt, the one I'm wearing right now. This I have with me all the time. I have a different one in the car. It's a little bit bigger. I have a bigger one in the house for home defense. But you just flip that up, you put your finger in there, you pull the trigger down, and it comes out in a stream. So you get some distance between you and him, or a group of them, and then you just go, you make a Z. You go through the eyes, through the nose, through the mouth. It literally, it says it right on the can. Make your Z, just aim side to side, and then the gel is going to stick to them, and within seconds it's going to start to light them up in a very uncomfortable, painful way, which is the purpose of it, to get them off of you. So, and you can see it if you watch any of these wild videos, and I try not to watch too much because it's too crazy. I don't want to put that crap in my head, but you just need to know what's happening in the world, and there is a lot of social unrest, and again, it's not political. I'm not taking a side. I'm going to always side with God and with truth, right? And we know that there's truth. Hey, Studer, it's good to see you. But if you needed to extricate yourself, get your family out of there, get away from a group of people or a person who's coming after you, coming down the street, and you do have a can of pepper gel, and they make different sizes. This is made by Sabre. I put a link in the description. You can get these in bigger sizes. This is a little bit bigger that you would carry. They also have them now, a big can for the house. Like if you wanted to put it in your house, or if you lived in an area where you're afraid that mob violence might come down the street and come in your door because you live near an area where a lot of stuff is happening, then you could get a bigger can, or you get, one for each person in your family that needs to be protected. And then, so you have some more options. So now, of course, someone's going to put in the comment section, just bring a gun. And I'm not anti-gun. I carry a gun. Professionally, I carry a gun, concealed carry everywhere I go. The question that Joey Plays asked, do I reckon that civil unrest is coming within the next 6 months? I don't know. And I'm not going to predict, and I'm not going to, I know what I see. You see what I see. We're all seeing the same thing, right? We're seeing that whatever side you land on, or whether you take a side or you believe it like me, that it's all a puppet show, and that there are forces of good and evil, and there's a lot of ulterior motives, and they've been lying to us for years and years. I think the COVID exposed that in my mind, that there's a lot that they don't want us to know, that when we find out, we're like, that didn't seem right at the time. And now I know why, right? And they say, don't believe what your eyes are telling you. But if you look at what's happening, for whatever reason, there's just a lot of craziness, and people who normally maybe 20 years ago would have just protested and been angry are now taking violent action against law enforcement, against their neighbors, against innocent people. And I monitor a guy who's close to where I work, because I worry about him coming to the place that I work and trying to do violence. And his social media is full of hate, just hate. And I know, because we see them, and this is my job professionally, is to do threat assessments. And there are so many people being spun up, and I think they're being spun up by AI. Like, they're being spun up at a level that's never existed before, because artificial intelligence with the algorithms can feed them everything they need in a way to get them one step closer to taking some demonic action where they go against innocent people like ourselves, right? Where they go and they take action to try to hurt somebody else because of what they perceive them to be, or what they think they believe. And where before we could have some disagreement and say, look, we don't have to agree, but we can love each other. We're neighbors. We all have some things in common. Our kids go to school together. But now there's so much, and I think the phone amplifies it, right? So social media is amplifying this idea that we need to be separated. We need to be at each other's throats. And while they're doing that, maybe something is happening that we're being distracted from. I don't know. That's my honest answer. I don't know. And I'm not going to waste my time worrying about why. It doesn't matter why. What I want to know is, what steps do I need to take to protect myself and my family and my community while honoring my God, without becoming angry and mean and jaded and bitter and finding somebody else to hate. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I do want to be prepared. I don't want to have to panic. I don't want my kids to perish. And so, if you're like me, you try to stay out of, falling into the traps of trying to get something, trying to get you to hate somebody for whatever reason. And you say, that's not who I am 2 years ago. Why do I want to be that now? And more importantly, what are they distracting me from? And what do I need to prepare for what might be coming, this tsunami of artificial intelligence, of job losses, of world global debt that's bigger than anybody can handle, whatever it is, all the different issues. And what can I do? What do I have to have prepared? Pay my debts, get myself healthy, prepare, in simple ways, make sure my house is sound and defensible, make sure that I have defense tools and defense knowledge and defense training, make sure I have medical knowledge. I have books in the house for, if we can't get to a doctor, what are the medicines that we need to have that we can keep in the house? So prepping, right? Basic prepping. And so what do you do? So my long-winded, boring answer is social unrest, civil war, everybody's talking about it. Civil war, social unrest, is that coming in the next 6 months? I don't know. I think it could go either way, but it doesn't seem like they're trying to make it any better. It seems like things are escalating, and I don't know who they are, But the forces that be that are trying to keep us at each other's throats and hating each other all the time on both sides, or however many sides there really are, they're just pouring. And I don't think they care. I don't think they really. It's not ideological. I think it's just destruction. I think so. So my point is, because of the impending possibility of destruction, if we see that as a possibility, how do we prepare for that? How do we prepare ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially? And you can just make a list and start working on it, or you can hide under the bed and wait. Put your hand and wait for the sky to fall, and it might not ever fall. And it might just be a phase that we're going through, a cycle. We might be in a down cycle, and then there's going to be a correction, and then 5 years from now we'll look back and say, we missed that bullet, or things are actually getting better now. We didn't see how that would happen, or it's not, or it's worse. But either way, take some action, and that's how I mitigate my fear and not wanting to get frozen in and being stuck in this doom loop, right? Because it's easy to get stuck in the doom loop and just constantly consume all the media that makes you mad and say, well, I can't believe they did this, and I can't believe he said that, and I can't believe they're not doing this and they're not doing that. Or, pulling yourself back. What's my truth? What do I need to do to keep myself healthy in all of the physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and financial ways that I have power over? And let everybody else go be crazy. But I'm going to protect myself and my family and take that seriously. So that's my unsolicited advice. I know you asked, what do I think? That's what I think. So anyway, what do you think? Please let me know in the comment section what you think is the right solution to what's happening now. Do you believe in preparing? What ways do you prepare? What ways do you prepare physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially? What other ways are not on that list? And how do you pull yourself out? If you're able to pull yourself out from all the craziness right now, how do you do that? Put that in the comments.